Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming again today, you're very, very welcome. I trust you enjoyed my last request. We went back to Corey Hart and we looked at being human in amongst success with Boy in the Box. So I trust you found that one encouraging. We're going from there to absolute pop icon phenomenon worldwide today. 1973 in New York City. Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons had already been involved in the band Wicked Lister. They were signed, did one album, and they thought, you know what, we want something different, something new. And so they co-opted Ace Frehley and Peter Criss after much auditioning, and they would form the band Kiss. Now, Kiss are absolutely massive. You know, when these guys were at the height of their fame, there was nothing bigger than these guys. These guys are just so different in many, many ways. Shock rock, no shortage of stage antics, and of course the iconic makeup. Nobody knew what these guys looked like without their makeup on, and this is what made Kiss so mysterious and so compelling to watch. These guys are an absolute force of nature on stage. They can only say these guys can play really, really well. And when we get on to the next video, because I'm going to give these guys a 2, they did get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But they would adopt some stage names: Star Child, The Demon, Spaceman or Space Ace, and The Catman. And Kiss, the name Kiss, there was another band named Lips, and they thought, well, Lips Kiss, it seems pretty logical, we can call ourselves that. We're going to make the S's Z's, lightning bolts, to make it a little bit more iconic. And there have been some ties to Nazism with this name, but both Paul and Gene are Jews, so that well and truly wasn't going to be the case. Ties to other things as well, but all of that stuff's been vehemently denied by Kiss. Their first performance was in 1973 at the Popcorn Club. Now, there were less than 10 people at that particular performance. They did make up their date. They did do their makeup debut on the 9th and 10th of March 1973 at Amityville, New York. At this time, they did bring Bill Aucoin on as manager. Now, Bill would go on to manage such icons as Billy Idol. And in 1973, Kiss were the first to be signed to the newly formed Casablanca Records. They did record a debut album with Bell Studios, and around the end of 1973, there was an industry premiere where they actually opened for the iconic Blue Oyster Cult. In that particular performance, Gene Simmons set his hair on fire, which would be one of many, many times that Gene would actually do that. Gene Simmons is not scared to ham it up on stage, absolutely. Their first album came out in February 1974, and there was a lot of cheering happening around that time. Make no mistake, it wasn't romantic. We had a little beat-up van that they were touring on. They were eating hamburgers in diners. This is what Kiss were doing to get started. And despite all of that, I suppose all of that touring, the first album didn't do so well. But in 1974, they would actually perform for the first time on ABC TV. Now, Kiss were just so different to what was going around at this time. Bearing in mind that the early 1970s, we'd morphed from the Beatles to hey, you know what, bands like ABBA, the Bay City Rollers were starting to put their fans front and centre, and to realise that we needed more than just music, we needed a show, and Kiss well and truly capitalised on that. The second album, they thought, what are we going to do to try and capture the world's imagination? Let's do another album, Hotter Than Hell. This album didn't do so well, and peaking out at number 100. The single Let Me Go Rock and Roll did not chart, unfortunately. But they kept on going. 1975, the album Dressed to Kill got released. And the song I'm Gonna Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day, this is one of their signature tunes. This song was actually on Dressed to Kill, and it kind of helped to start getting Kiss into the limelight a little bit more. We've got an official and live version of that one below. The albums was still not they weren't selling well. The albums weren't selling well, but their live performances were becoming rather iconic, you know, with Gene Simmons spitting blood and breathing fire, guitars bursting into flames, and a bit of guitar smashing on stage. The Kiss were becoming quite sold out in many ways, but as a studio, as a business, and the band, they were on the verge of bankruptcy, so they needed a breakthrough album. Well, they thought, well, you know what, our live stuff's pretty good, so why don't we just record a live album? So a live came out around that time, and this would be their breakthrough success album, a double live album of all things, and so Kiss came from the brink to become household names. In 1976, the album Destroyer was released, and this quite intricate production. We've got strings and choirs and all sorts of things going on here. We got Beth, which we got the official clip of this one below. This is quite a stripped back ballad for Kiss. It's all about a girl waiting for her guy, but the guys have been playing music. They're welcome to going out with a muso. And so we got the official clip of that one below. In 1976, the album Rock and Roll Over, 1977 Love Gun, and Alive number 2, 1977. All of those albums went to platinum, so Kiss were well and truly on a crest of a wave at this point. In fact, they were earning around $17 million in royalties and publishing. The success included 5 sold-out shows in Budokan Hall in Japan. That record had only been held by the Beatles in 1966. Also had 5 sold-out shows in that hall as well. In 1978, they released a compilation album, a double platinum album. It was absolutely massive seller. This one, at this point, Kiss merchandise was well and truly a bit of a thing, because, you know, all you got to do is have figures all dressed up with makeup, and you've got merchandise that people just wanted. They would then embark on quite an ambitious marketing campaign, and one of those was to really push the Kiss brand. And this meant that 4 solo albums were released all at the same time. All the albums looked similar and were marketed similarly. Each album was dedicated to each of the band members. A very significant thing to do for each artist, for each band member to have their own solo album, all with various kinds of influences. But it really did show off the musical versatility of these guys. In 1979, the album Dynasty was released, and the song I Was Made for Loving You would come off that album. I've got official and a live version all the way forward to 2020 for you below. I was made for loving you, baby. You were made for loving me. I can't get enough of you, baby. Can you get enough of me? I think what I love about this song is just the courageousness of the lyrics. I was made for loving you. And you were made for loving me. I can't get enough of you, baby. Can you get enough of me? That's love, passion, relationships in 4 lines right there. It implies mutuality. It implies wanting and love. It implies passion. It implies equal relationship. I want you really. I really want you, girl, and it's so good that you really want me. I Was Made for Loving You is an absolutely iconic Kiss song, and really just typifies everything that's just passion and affection and everything else that in a relationship can actually be. But to actually say, I was made for loving you, and you were made for loving me. There's absolute confidence in these lyrics. Confidence. I am your man, and you are my girl. And the girl's thinking, well, yeah, of course I am. It's not like, oh, get over yourself. You know, no. He knows without a shadow of a doubt that she is his girl. And you've just put rock music in there. This song's a little bit more disco orientated, I suppose, for Kiss. But when you put the whole Kiss Powerhouse behind that, you've got an absolutely compelling song here. That you can imagine this couple not just walking into the sunset, but actually dancing into it, walking into it hand in hand, absolutely into each other. I love these lyrics in many, many ways. I don't think there's any other song really that I can think of at this point in time that's so overt in its want and passion and desire as this song. I was made for loving you. You were made for loving me. I can't get enough of you. Can you get enough of me? Well, now the girls answered that one, so no, I can't. So Kiss in all of their glory. We've got the official clip of that one below. We've got a live version of that one below all the way through to 2020. Now, quite a long time after Kiss started their career, all the way nearly 50 years, these guys still had it in 2020. And so we've got official live of that one below. Things were a little bit tense in the band. To be such a success as these guys absolutely were, the lifestyle that you lead, all of the stuff that goes along with rock and roll, things were starting to unwind a little bit behind the scenes, and Peter Criss would eventually leave the band, and Peter Carvalho or Eric Carr would join, first the persona of the Hawk, but then the Fox was settled on. In 1982, Ace Frehley would leave the band too, and many people auditioned to replace him, including Eddie Van Halen. But the Van Halen thing was just about to kick off, and thought, no, you stay with Van Halen. I reckon you're going to be better off with them. And well and truly that what happened. But, the Kiss had such grunt in the music industry that Eddie Van Halen did audition for these guys. Soon, the album Creatures of the Night was released. This is very, very heavy for Kiss. And here you see the live version of I Love It Loud below. Here we've got the live version of that song. You can see them in all of their Kiss glory. Absolutely. I forgot to mention a little way back when I was actually talking about Gene Simmons and his stage antics. A bit of a clip of some of those antics, including the spitting of the blood and all sorts of things. Him doing a little bit of a bass solo and morphing into I Love It Loud a little bit later. This is what Kiss were. They were an absolute powerhouse force of nature. And so, but the big question on everybody's lips was, who are these four guys? Who are they? Who are they? Who are they really? Where do they hang out? What are their real names? We didn't actually know who Kiss were in the flesh, but that would all change in 1983. And when it was announced that they were going to unmask, there had been rumours of unmasking, but in 1983 it would become official, and the world held its breath. And so that's where we're going to leave it today, and we're going to get on to the second half of these guys' career in the next video when they did unmask. So the links to those 7 clips are in the description below, and I've also included my last video on the request from Corey Hart, Boy in the Box. So if you want to recap on him, feel free. Well, if this is your first time to Life Reflections Through Music, or you've come back for another one, how great to see everybody here. Well, that's it for today. As said, we're going to get on to the second half of Kiss's career next time with their unmasking. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.